Hi everybody, welcome in. If you're new here, Little Coffee Mug signing in. So, you all know FWA was a little while ago and it was amazeballs. This video might get a little long, so let's break it into a few parts. If you saw my previous video, I did explain a little bit about what FWA is. Let's start with the basics. What does FWA stand for? FWA stands for Furry Week in Atlanta. It is a furry convention that is stationed in Atlanta, Georgia, United States. It is, I think, the second biggest furry convention in the nation, and man, was it really fun once I got the vibe. Now, you might be asking, what is a furry? Or even, what is a convention? Let me explain. The easiest way to explain furries is that they are a person who cosplay animals. Mythical, hybrids, whatever they desire. They can be colorful, neutral colors, big, small, etc. I'll go in depth about that here in a moment. Now, a convention is a big gathering of people who all have similar interests or hobbies. People who celebrate that interest or hobby, like anime cons, get to go to activities like concerts, panels, even shopping. Like I explained, a furry is someone who cosplays an animal, but let me make it very clear they are not animals. They cosplay them. They wear outfits called fursuits, which are handmade and very expensive. Some people do partial suits and or full suits. A partial would contain all or some of the above: a head, paws, tail, paws for the feet, other accessories that fit their persona. A full suit is all of that and the body. Now, there are two parts to the full suit: digitigrade, which is extra padding to look more anthropomorphic, and plantigrade, which is the suit of the body, literally has no padding. It's just your body. The padding tends to be in the thighs where it gives that curve to make it look more animalistic. Another thing with this is furries are different from Therians, and I'll explain why in a moment. This topic is going to be a little shorter because I'm speaking from what I know. This video is mostly about FWA, so I'll just keep it short and sweet. Well, anyways, first, fursonas are complicated things. You don't need a fursona to be furry, but most people start out that way. Along with that, I feel a fursona is like an original character, an OC, if you will. Because really, each and every furry are unique in every way. I haven't seen any copycats thus far. If there are, it hasn't been brought to my attention. Like I said, this is about FWA, so I'm not going to get all this right or factually correct. I am still learning. From the top of my head, Therians are more spiritual to animals, meanwhile furries cosplay them. Really, if you look at them long enough, at the end of the day, these are categories and subcategories of each other. FWA 2026 is my first ever con that I ever went to. It was crazy fun. There was so much to do, so much space for almost 20,000 of us to roam. 20,000. FWA 2026 was 4 hotels big, and there were a few outlander buildings like America Mart, the food court, and the aquarium. About 2 or 3 of those hotels are interconnected by skylines, and if I'm going to be completely honest, it was maze-like even with the directions and a map to guide you. People quite literally had to be straightforward each step of the way to get around. There were a handful of things I went to and wished I went to, like the Ivy Comb concert. That was really fun. My first ever concert to an artist I didn't even know existed until that day. Like, bopping good music. I missed the Moonlight Festival, but I heard it was great. There was some good and bad to that, but I'll definitely try and go again next year. I actually made 7 friends in that whole weekend. It was wonderful. Now, there was an event called FWA Aquarium Takeover or whatnot. I didn't go, however, I did get tickets. before that event started, before all of FWA started, and I did get to see how big and organized and wonderful the aquarium is. I mean, it was huge, and I would definitely go again. Dealer's Den had a large array of vendors. It was super cool. I did make it to the line first day within like 4 minutes after it opened, so I only had to deal with a half an hour of the line. I know the first 2 days were really rough. If you wanted to go into Dealer's Den, it was like 3 hours worth of lines. It was crazy, honestly. I know the last day for Dealer's Den being open, there was a lot of sales because I mean the people really have to offload that stuff before they go. Like they don't want to bring that bag home with them. That is very, very felt, to be honest. Um, I followed a friend to a panel called the Circus of Mysteries. I think that's what it was called. I would have to double check. I will put that in the captions. I learned to make a balloon animal there, and I got to participate in a Jeopardy about real life clowns and circuses. Now, I'm absolutely terrified of clowns, but this panel was still super fun. Like I said before, this was my first con, and as someone diagnosed with social anxiety, the last few days were rough at this con. I did go with someone for my first con. Let's name them C. They did make my whole experience pretty stamped down. I was in a new place basically by myself and more scared of the people than what they'll do to me than how much fun I needed to have. C and I made an agreement that we would stick around for a little while and help each other make friends, but that was not the case. C quite literally kept me farther than arm's length, making me feel very anxious and very alone until we went to a watch party for Zootopia 2, and that's where I met my bestest friend, CoreupptedArts. To clarify, Core comes up in the story a few times. So we were about 10 minutes from finishing Zootopia 2, and Core knocked on the door. We finished off the movie, and both C and I hung out with Core a little longer outside the hotel. I vibed with him, C vibed with him, got his Discord, it was whatever. See, this is where things got out of hand. I paid for C's trip to be at FWA. I paid for the both of us, and his attitude towards me got worse. Core had offered a staff opportunity to C, and C took it. And I don't mean, sure, okay, I'll be on staff. No, I mean, he was volunteering the next day and leaving me in the dust. To clarify, Core is an FWA staff member. How in the hell did we happen to make friends with a staff member? Anyways, time went on, and I was supposed to meet C at the mature market, and that's when it fell apart. I could not, I mean, I could not find the mature market for the life of me. I was lost, and I mean really lost. I was somewhere between the Marriott Marquise and the Hyatt Place. I don't know how I got there. I kept asking C for help, but he kept giving me this "you're really flipping stupid" kind of vibe and wouldn't pick up his phone, as per usual. Yeah, real nice jerk face. I decided, since I was in a server of furries, that I'd reach out to the ones that were recommended to me. I met up with two of them and then finally met up with Core again. At this point, I found myself in a quiet space for the second time out of purpose. I've been there twice before because I found it and wanted to chill, and the second time because I left a belonging there. I kind of I just kind of felt like a lost puppy, honestly. Growing up, there is nothing to prepare you for such betrayal and utter loneliness like that. Like, I don't know why C decided to act the way he did. That's why I'm glad I met Core. He took me to the Ivy Comb concert and we vibed more. We became better friends, and I am gonna say I'm not sure if I'm in order with all these events because my days kind of mixed together. It was such a long weekend. I was there for a whole week, Tuesday to Tuesday, really. In short, C switched hotels probably, I think it was Sunday, and I left them alone. Honestly, I left them alone because I wasn't going to be around somebody who can't get their morals straight. Core is my friend. He knows what happened between C and I and does not condone it. Anyway, some of you already may know some of the drama in and out of FWA. I never experienced any of them, so I'm not going to put in much of my own words, just covering the main topics. After watching a few videos about FWA 2026, I learned that there were zoophile markings in the stairwell of the Marriott Marquise, of all places. A guy was going around groping people. That's not okay. There was one jokester content creator that got a feral backlash for what she was saying, but in my opinion, everybody was in the wrong. There were quite a lot of things happening at the con, so of course, these people chose the most chaotic times to strike, but even then, that's not okay. Anyway, overall, FWA 2026 was really fun. It was a big party convention made to have fun. I learned a lot about the community in that short time and would like to go again next year for 2027. I saw so many cool, fluffy, and fantastic fursuits and fursonas. People were embracing it. There were people without them too, and I gotta say, their outfits were cooler than mine, and I mean way fluff and cool. There were even regular cosplayers. There was an Adam from Hasbin Hotel, Lagundo from BeatStars, a literal balloon dog costume. It was amazing. I guess the overall message is if you want to be out of your comfort zone, go. If you want to go to a con and you're scared that you're going to be alone, just go. Because in the end, you will make at least one friend. You will meet many new people. Hell, go for the vibe. Furry cons are not for everyone, but if you think it'll make your year, go for it. Alright guys, that's the end of the video. Little Coffee Mug signing out.